All right, so are you ready for this? We're diving deep into the world of football today.
Always ready.
We're going to be tackling the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup.
Right.
This isn't just any other tournament. This is like the big one.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking 32 of
32.
the best clubs on the planet.
The best.
Including, those European giants everybody knows.
Right.
And they're all going to be clashing in the U.S. next summer.
Yep.
It's almost like the Champions League decided to, supersize itself and go on a summer vacation in America.
Yeah, well, that's what's so fascinating about this is FIFA's ambition, right? They're not messing around. They're not just adding a few extra teams here and there. They are going all in on transforming this thing into a true global spectacle.
Oh, yeah.
A month-long event.
Wow.
With group stages and knockout rounds, just like the Ben's World Cup.
Yeah.
It's a bold move. It's a bold experiment to see if they can actually make this tournament a real competitor to the World Cup.
Right. Now, I've got a whole stack of articles here from both the English and Brazilian press.
Oh, nice.
And they were all buzzing about this.
I bet.
Some are excited. Some are downright furious.
I can imagine.
And we're also going to kind of zoom in on one matchup in particular.
Okay.
That's already creating a lot of buzz, which is Flamengo versus Chelsea.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Yeah. And it's not just about who wins the trophy, right?
Right.
This tournament brings up some really important questions.
Yeah.
About the future of football. Are we going to see players getting pushed too far?
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to get burned out?
Yeah.
Is FIFA trying to muscle out these domestic leagues?
Interest.
All that stuff. We're going to unpack all of that.
We're going to get into it. Okay. So first, let's paint a picture of what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
The 2025 Club World Cup is a massive leap from what we've seen before.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're going from 7 teams to 32.
That's a big jump.
That's huge.
And remember, this is all happening in the U.S. Yeah. From June 15th to July 13th, 2025.
USA.
Clearly, FIFA is trying to make a splash in a new market. Grab a piece of that American sports pie.
I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hop over the pond to England, shall we, and see what they're saying about all this.
All right.
The English press seems to be kind of a mix of intrigued and outraged, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you've got articles gushing about these dream matchups, especially the potential for some of these Brazilian teams like Flamengo and Botafogo to really shake things up.
Yeah.
They're being portrayed as the underdogs with a real chance to cause some upsets.
Yeah, but it's not all just hype and excitement, is it?
No, not at all.
No.
The Premier League, which is arguably the most powerful league in the world right now.
For sure.
They're absolutely fuming.
Yeah.
I mean, they've even joined this legal action against FIFA over this whole thing.
Why are they so upset? Is it just because they might lose a few weeks of their season? Or is there more to it?
It's way more than that. They are worried about player burnout.
Right.
Their top players are already juggling a ridiculous number of games every year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Premier League, Champions League, domestic cups.
International matches.
International matches, exactly. And now you want to throw this month-long tournament on top of all that.
It's a lot.
They're really concerned about injuries, fatigue,
right.
All that.
And FIFPro, the Global Players Union, has also come out kind of swinging against this tournament, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And that adds a whole other layer to this fight.
Okay.
The Premier League's lawsuit, it's not just a scheduling dispute anymore. This is a battle for control.
I see.
Over player welfare in this increasingly globalized sport.
It's getting serious.
Yeah.
Okay, so while the English clubs are, fuming across the Atlantic, the Brazilian press is painting a very different picture.
Understandably, they're pretty pumped about this tournament.
I bet.
Especially the prospect of Flamengo facing off against Chelsea.
Flamengo, they've been a real powerhouse in South American football lately. Yeah, they have.
Are they being seen as genuine contenders or just like a fun first-round challenge for Chelsea?
There's definitely a lot of optimism in the Brazilian coverage.
Okay.
But they're not delusional.
Right.
They acknowledge that Chelsea, with their Premier League pedigree and their star-studded squad, they're the favorites going in.
Right.
But they also emphasize Flamengo's potential to pull off an upset.
Yeah.
They've got a quality squad and a lot of experience playing on the big stage.
And there's also that added personal narrative, isn't there? You got 2 former Chelsea stars.
Oh, yeah.
Felipe Luis and David Luiz.
Right.
Now playing for Flamengo.
Imagine the drama.
Oh, man.
If they knock out their old club.
Oh, could you imagine?
I know.
That'd be amazing.
That's exactly the kind of storyline the Brazilian press is latching onto.
Yeah.
They're playing up the reunion angle, reminding everyone that these guys, they've tasted victory at Chelsea. They can use that experience to their advantage. It adds a whole new dimension to the match. It really does. Okay, so let's dig into Flamengo a bit more.
Right.
The English press, they seem to be impressed with them too.
Yeah.
Not just writing them off as a pushover team.
Not at all. In fact, I was reading this fascinating article in The Athletic.
Yeah.
And they called Flamengo Chelsea's toughest matchup.
Really?
In the group stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what makes them so dangerous? Are they just relying on the experience of those ex-Chelsea players, or is there more to it?
That's part of it for sure, but it goes beyond that. They're being praised for the overall quality of their squad.
Okay.
Their tactical flexibility and their ability to handle pressure in big games.
Yeah.
They've got a manager known for his tactical nous.
Okay.
And a squad full of talented players who are hungry to prove themselves on the world stage.
That's a dangerous combination.
Yeah.
So you've got the English press acknowledging their potential, the Brazilian press hyping them up, and this whole subplot with the former Chelsea players. It sounds like Flamengo could be a real dark horse in this tournament.
Absolutely. They're not just there to make up the numbers. No. They're being taken seriously as contenders, and that speaks to the broader shift that this tournament represents.
And that brings us to, I think, the heart of the controversy surrounding this whole thing.
Right.
This supersized Club World Cup format.
Yeah.
It's a huge gamble by FIFA, isn't it?
It is. They're trying to create a new global event.
Yeah.
Something that can rival the Men's World Cup.
Okay.
In terms of prestige and revenue. But as we've seen with the Premier League's reaction, there's a lot of resistance to this idea, especially from those powerful European leagues who feel like their interests are being sidelined.
And, you know, they do raise some valid points, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, are we sacrificing player well-being and the quality of those domestic leagues just to satisfy FIFA's ambitions?
And line their pockets. Yeah. That's the million-dollar question. This isn't just a sporting event. This is a battle over the future of football structure. Who has the power?
Yeah.
Who gets to decide how the game is played? Right. Where does the money go?
Right.
How much is too much for these players to handle?
It's a big question.
Big questions.
Yeah. So we've got this David versus Goliath clash brewing between Flamengo and Chelsea. And it's all happening within this larger context of this controversial supersized tournament that's dividing the entire football world.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. You know, it really highlights that tension between FIFA's drive for this more globalized game and the concerns of, like, you know, the individual leagues.
Yeah.
And players who feel like they're getting squeezed in the process.
Yeah. Yeah. And that tension's kind of playing out in the media coverage, too.
Yeah, it is.
Even the Brazilian press, while they're optimistic about Flamengo's chances, they're still acknowledging those challenges that this tournament presents.
Yeah.
You know, especially for the players.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they're framing this clash with Chelsea, right?
Yeah, how are they framing it?
It's not just a football match.
Right.
It's being portrayed as like this symbolic battle between South American and European football.
Interesting.
You know, like a chance for Flamengo to prove that they can compete with the best in the world.
It's almost like a David versus Goliath narrative, isn't it?
It really is.
With Flamengo carrying like the hopes and dreams of an entire continent.
On their shoulders, exactly.
Wow.
They're tapping into that underdog spirit, you know, reminding everyone of those legendary South American teams that conquered the world in the past.
Oh, yeah.
It's a powerful narrative that resonates with fans.
For sure.
And adds this emotional layer to the whole tournament.
So there's a lot more at stake here than just a trophy.
Way more.
But we're talking national pride, continental bragging rights.
Yeah.
And these shifting dynamics.
It's huge.
Yeah, within global football.
Yeah. And let's not forget the financial implications.
Oh, right. The money.
The money. Yeah. FIFA is banking on this expanded tournament.
Okay.
To generate a ton of revenue. You know, new markets, more sponsors, bigger TV deals. They're seeing dollar signs everywhere.
I bet they are.
Yeah.
But that revenue comes at a cost, doesn't it?
Of course.
As we were talking about earlier,
of course,
the Premier League and FIFA Pro are arguing that FIFA is prioritizing profit over player well-being.
Right.
And the integrity of those domestic leagues.
They're basically accusing FIFA of being out of touch.
Okay.
Turning a blind eye to the realities of the modern game, you know?
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, these players are already being pushed to their limits.
Right.
And you're just adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah. It's a tough situation.
It really is.
Really complex with no easy answers.
Yeah.
On one hand, you want to grow the game globally,
Right.
make it accessible to fans everywhere, and create these incredible spectacles. But on the other hand, you have to think about the players. You have to think about protecting the players and the existing structures of the sport.
Yeah, it's a tough balancing act.
It is.
And it's not going away anytime soon.
Right.
As football continues to evolve and globalize, we're going to see more conflicts like this.
Yeah, I think so.
More clashes between those who want to expand the game.
Right.
And those who want to protect what they see as, the heart and soul of football.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, so let's step back from the boardrooms.
Okay.
And the legal battles for a second.
Yeah.
Let's not forget we have that amazing Flamengo-Chelsea match to look forward to.
Right. I'm so excited for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the media on both sides of the Atlantic is already whipping up the anticipation.
I bet.
They're breaking down the strengths and weaknesses of each team.
Yeah.
Speculating about tactics,
Of course.
And highlighting the personal narratives, of course, surrounding those former Chelsea players now wearing the Flamengo jersey.
Yeah, it's a clash of styles too, isn't it?
It is.
You got Chelsea representing that tactical discipline, physicality of the Premier League.
Yep.
And then you have Flamengo.
Right.
Embodying the flair.
The passion.
Yeah, and the passion.
Of Brazilian football.
It's going to be an amazing tactical battle.
I can't wait.
I know, me neither. And don't underestimate the impact of the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Even though the tournament is in the U.S.
Right.
There's going to be a sea of red and black in the stand.
Oh, for sure.
Those passionate Brazilian fans cheering on Flamengo, that could give them a real edge.
It could, especially if things get tight.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about the narratives, the stakes, the potential drama, but let's zoom out again.
Okay.
And consider the bigger picture.
Right.
What does this Club World Cup tell us about the state of football in the 21st century?
It's a microcosm, I think, of the forces that are shaping the game, globalization, financial pressures.
Yeah.
The media is just insatiable hunger. For content and storylines, it's all colliding.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
In this tournament.
And the outcome of this tournament, who wins, how it's received, how the players hold up.
Right.
It could have ripple effects that extend far beyond the final whistle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine if a South American team like Flamengo defies the odds and wins the whole thing.
Wow.
It would be a massive boost for the prestige of South American football.
Right.
And it could embolden other teams from the region to challenge that European dominance, Yeah. It could even shift the balance of power within the sport.
It could totally change things. And on a more practical level, it would send a really clear message to FIFA.
Right.
That this gamble on this expanded format has paid off.
Exactly.
Right. It could encourage them to push for even more changes.
Yeah.
Potentially leading to more conflict with those domestic leagues and player unions.
More battles to come.
Yeah. So the stakes are incredibly high.
They are.
Both on and off the pitch.
On and off.
This tournament's about way more than just a trophy.
It is.
It's about the future direction.
Of the sport itself.
Yeah. And that's why it's so captivating, right?
It is. We're witnessing history in the making.
Yeah.
A clash of cultures, a battle for supremacy, a glimpse into what the future of football might hold.
So as we head into this uncharted territory, what are some of the key questions we should be asking ourselves as fans? What are the things we should be paying attention to beyond just the scores and the highlights?
One of the biggest questions for me is, will this tournament truly capture the imagination of fans worldwide?
Okay.
Can FIFA create a global spectacle that rivals the men's World Cup in terms of excitement and viewership? Or will it just feel like a, overstuffed, watered-down version of the Champions League?
Right. And what about the players?
Yeah, the players are key.
Will they be able to handle these increased physical and mental demands?
Right. Are we going to see more injuries, more burnout, more players speaking out against this relentless schedule?
And how will the relationship between FIFA and the domestic leagues evolve?
Right. Will they find a way to coexist peacefully?
Yeah.
Or are we going to see more clashes, more legal battles, more power struggles as they fight for control of the game?
It's a lot to consider.
It is.
These are just some of the questions we'll be exploring in the coming months as we get closer to the tournament.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Right.
A lot more to unpack.
Yeah, and remember, this is a story that's still being written.
Oh, yeah.
There is so many variables at play, so many potential twists and turns.
Absolutely. A single injury, a surprise upset,
Right.
a controversial refereeing decision.
It could change everything.
Any of those things could change the entire narrative.
I'm already hooked, I gotta say.
Yeah, me too.
I think even those people who were skeptical about this tournament at first might find themselves getting swept up in the drama and excitement.
I think you're right.
As it unfolds.
Yeah. It's going to be a wild ride, and that's what makes it so compelling, you know?
Yeah.
We're all along for the ride watching as this global chess game plays out on the pitch and in the boardrooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really reminds you that football is more than just the goals and trophies.
It's a reflection of our world, isn't it?
Yeah.
All those cultural clashes, economic forces, even the political power plays.
It's all there, yeah. And we, the fans, we're right in the middle of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Swept up in the passion.
The drama.
The endless debates.
Yeah, who's the best? Who got robbed? What does it all mean?
Speaking of debates.
Okay.
Let's circle back to that controversy over the tournament's format for a second.
Okay, yeah.
FIFA is clearly betting big on this expanded Club World Cup.
Yeah.
It's like a cornerstone of their global strategy.
Yeah, they're trying to tap into those booming football markets.
Like in Asia and North America, places where the sport's popularity is really taking off.
Huge growth there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, they're chasing the money.
Right.
Yeah, this tournament could be a huge cash cow for FIFA.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with all those extra teams and all the global interests generating.
Yeah, but as we've been talking about, not everybody's on board with this.
Not at all.
Those European clubs and leagues.
Yeah.
They're pushing back hard.
Yeah, they see it as a power grab by FIFA.
Right.
An attempt to control the global game at the expense of their domestic competitions.
Right, and they're worried about their players, too.
Yeah, of course.
They're the ones who are going to be feeling the strain.
Yeah.
All of those extra games, the risk of injuries, the mental fatigue of a never-ending season.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough balancing act.
It really is.
On one hand, you want to grow the game globally, make it accessible to fans everywhere.
Yeah. Make it a spectacle.
Right. Create these incredible spectacles. But on the other hand,
you got to protect the players.
You got to protect the players and the existing structures of the sport.
Right. The heart of the game.
Yeah. It's a real dilemma, and it's not going away anytime soon.
No, it's going to keep coming up.
Right. As football continues to evolve and globalize.
We're going to see more conflicts like this.
Yeah.
More clashes between those who want to expand and those who want to protect tradition.
Right. Tradition. Yeah. So let's step away from the boardrooms and the legal battles for a minute.
Okay.
What does this all mean for the average football fan?
Well, on a simple level, it means more football to watch, right?
Yeah, more football.
More tournaments, more matches, more drama.
Which is great.
Yeah.
For those of us who can't get enough.
Right. But it also means we need to be more aware of what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the curve.
Right. All the politics, the economics that are shaping the sport we love.
Right. Yeah.
We can't just be passive consumers.
No, I got to be active.
We need to be informed, engaged fans.
Right. So we need to ask questions.
Ask questions. Demand transparency.
Hold those in power accountable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, football belongs to the fans.
Right. It does.
It's our passion that drives this whole multi-billion-dollar industry.
That's true. So as we enter this new era of globalized football, let's make sure we're not just spectators. You know?
Let's get involved.
Yeah, let's engage in the debates, voice our opinions.
Make our voices heard.
Make our voices heard. Exactly because the future of the sport
is in our hands.
It's in our hands. Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Right.
What would a victory for Flamengo, a team from outside those traditional European powerhouses, what would that mean for the future of global football?
That's a good question.
Would it signal a shift in the balance of power, a changing of the guard?
Or would it just be a blip on the radar,
Right.
a temporary disruption of the established order?
Wow.
The answer to that question might just determine the course of the sport for years to come.
So stay tuned. The deep dive continues.